finding trades where the credit spread generates at least 33% of the vertical width on very liquid underlying so that you know that you can execute those trades at the midpoint. There's no bigger waste of time than doing all of an equity research, looking at the technicals, looking at the fundamentals, bringing in an options chain, and then finding out the options aren't very liquid and that you can't reliably get filled at the midpoint on a trade. So this is really where we filter out nearly 95% of all optionable symbols from our scanning universe, so that whatever scans we show up that shows up in our scans, you know you can execute those trades without any issues getting in and out of those trades near the midpoint. And then lastly, what we do is we also align these with our technical directional view, meaning we're waiting for those pullbacks in those rallies, or we're waiting for those rallies in those bearish trends to try to time the markets as well. So we're trying to do all three things for you so that you get a report where anything that shows up in that report aligns with all three things. And that's where I found the Marvell trade for today's setup. This was a trading setup that was discovered by our scanners that you could find in the Options Play platform. Within the Options Play platform, on the upper right-hand corner under Ideas, we have technical trade ideas, which are trend following ideas and counter trend ideas for those of you that are looking for equity ideas. And then what we do is we offer credit spread opportunities on some of those ideas when the credit spread that we're collecting is closer to 40% of the vertical width. And this list is sorted based on what percentage of vertical width we are collecting on that trade. So as you can see, Amgen, we're collecting 44% of that vertical width. Reddit, we're collecting 44%, Ally, 43%, Tesla, we're collecting 40%. I'm going to use Tesla just because that's a name that I think most of us are familiar with. The stock is down nearly 6% today on the news that the Trump administration might be getting rid of the EV tax credit. That's hit a lot of the EV players pretty hard, including Rivian and Tesla. So maybe you think that these concerns are a little bit overblown, and you certainly think that this pullback here is an opportunity because you don't necessarily want to chase things like this. You want to wait for pullbacks in order to take that next leg higher here, especially if you believe that the next administration may be favorable to Tesla from a policy perspective. This is really where you could potentially look at entering a longer term bullish opportunity on this pullback here, and you're going to collect 40% of the vertical width. So we're selling the 310 puts, right, which are the at the money puts, buying back the 280 puts, which if we look at kind of the 280 puts, as you can see, that's the 24 delta. Before we talked about the fact that we want to buy back the 25 delta. So the closest strike price to 25 deltas is $280. So we sold the 310, bought the 280 on the December 27th expiration, which are 43 days to expiration. And if you trade that specific trade structure, you're potentially making $1,200 on this trade if it's above 310, and you're risking only 1747. So you're risking, in this particular case, less than 1.5 times of what you can potentially make. So you have alignment on the credit spread perspective. You're collecting closer to about 41% of the vertical width here. You are finding stocks that are highly liquid and stocks that are experiencing a bit of a pullback in what is the start of a bullish trend here, like we have in Tesla. And this basically automates all of that work for you so that you don't have to do the research yourself, because it would take an incredible amount of time to find these technical setups, then wait for the pullbacks, then seek if there's a credit spread that kind of meets your requirements. So this basically does all the work for you so that you just simply have to find stocks that you are comfortable with and familiar with, and you're ready to kind of potentially trade.